let me take what you said one at a time. One, it's not just about being point guard for Kyrie, Stephen A. It's about who's the highest usage player. LeBron is by so far the highest usage player on the Lakers. It doesn't matter who's technically the point guard, Rondo or Avery Bradley or whomever. It's LeBron who's going to have to run the show. The ball is in his hands more than anyone else. That's like Kyrie. It's not that he's the point guard, it's that he is the highest usage player on the team. The ball will stick with him more than anyone else, including KD. So what the media, I suppose, or some members of it, including me, want to see from Kyrie is, can he lead that group in the right direction? You bring up Kobe Bryant. I think that's an apt, comparison. That's a good one. Because when I say Kyrie is like maybe the most skillful player I've ever seen and the best show in the NBA, like competition for that, like Kobe. Kobe's the most skillful. Kobe could do every single thing skills-wise. Every move, he had a counter move. He could score from anywhere. He could defend the whole thing. Kyrie reminds me of Kobe. Kobe proved in the second go-round, like with Powell, that he could lead a group to a championship. Kyrie has got to show that.
But why does he have to be the leader?
Because he's the highest usage player. He's like he's not just that he's a point guard.
You don't think someone else on the team could?
The ball is in Kyrie's hands more than anyone else's.
No.
Okay, so that's one. Two, KD, what he said about your worry about maybe KD, it's keeping him back if he's not all in for a championship. That's not how I interpreted what KD said. You may be right about that interpretation, but here's another one that I think is right. KD is talking about he can't control what we say, right? So, because he said for his mental health, he has to have this attitude. In other words, it's not that he doesn't want to be the best, want to win a championship at all costs, all those things, be the greatest player who ever lived. It's that he can't think that way because the media is going to say what they're going to say regardless. So he has to just take it one day at a time. He has to take it like, a lunch pail. It reminds me of what what Patrick Beverley told me in the locker room the other day, what Charles Oakley used to say. It's like being a farmer. Sun comes up, you get up and work, right? And KD is saying he's just going to take that approach one day at a time, put his head down and put in the work, and then whatever happens, happens. That doesn't mean he's not all in for a championship.
What I'm saying is that there comes a moment in time where something extra is required. For example, in layman's terms, we do this show every day. We're going to come in here, we're going to do our job. Was the day a little extra special?
Of course.
Of course it was. Why was it extra special?
Because Kevin Durant was here.
You're damn right.
So you have more eyeballs on the show.
So the moment calls for something extra. It calls for something a little extra special. And every champion that I have ever spoken to has always said to me, there comes a moment where you have to rise to the occasion. We know he's already done it. I'm saying to do it again in Brooklyn. The regular old, go about my day, carry the lunch pail, do what I got to do, that ain't going to
Wait, you may be right about that. But to get to that moment, he's got to adopt this attitude in his own mind, or he's going to go crazy, essentially.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. And Stephen A., obviously you have huge aspirations for your career, et cetera, but you come in and do the work every day. KD's saying that. I don't think KD's going to come out and say this, but in my humble opinion, we heard somebody like Kobe Bryant say, I don't want to go the easy way out to earn chips, super teams, et cetera. I think he's got to have that motivation of all the negative, all the haters he heard from going and joining the Warriors. Now he's not with a super team. So that's got to be motivation for him enough to win the chip, that extra edge that you're talking about he would need.
Well, I think that's accurate. And I think, in fairness to our viewers, there's a lot more that we could have gotten into, but, he had to race out of here. So he gave us the time that he gave us, and then the Brooklyn Nets came calling. He had to get up out of here. But the bottom line is that, again, it's that little extra something. And, of course, you got to carry your lunch. You got to grab your lunch pail and go to work every day, and you got to be on your grind. You got to put in something. But with him and Kyrie and what so many people have said about both of them, Kyrie is the kind of person, just his makeup in terms of how he performs, there's a little something extra that you're going to get from him when those troubled times arrive and the moment presents itself that you got to show up and show out. And I'm saying, don't think for 1 second that Kevin Durant has arrived, even as a two-time champion, where that's not going to be required. That's going to always be required.
That's right. I believe that's right in the moment of truth. And Molly, that's a great point you make, because really what it comes down to is, do you believe KD is being totally honest when he says that big imagination point about going to Brooklyn and proving something really wasn't on the front of his mind. I don't believe it. I think he has to adopt that position publicly, as he said, to keep his sanity, because that's what he's learned through the years, because he wants to control some of the media. He can't control the media reaction. He can control himself. But I do think that's why he went to Brooklyn. Ultimately, that was a top-of-the-mind thought. And Stephen A., to me, that suggests that he is preparing himself for that moment, or you don't make that choice.
Of course.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.